This segment is sponsored by Roberto P. Duran Premium Cigars, one of the fastest growing boutique cigar companies, providing smokers a portal into the old Cuban tradition of perfect balance and the lost art of progressive flavor construction. Roberto Pele Duran began his career in tobacco over 2 decades ago in Havana, where his reputation grew within Cuban circles. The creation of Roberto P. Duran Premium Cigars has given him the platform to introduce a series of cigars that offer the same quality, construction, and detail which he perfected while in Cuba. Brands include the ultra-premium Roberto P. Duran Premium Cigar Series, Azan Cigars, Nea, and Baracoa. Roberto P. Duran Premium Cigars used a seed-to-humidor approach, as all tobacco is grown on their farms and rolled in their factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. Rollers have been carefully chosen to carry out Roberto's precise method to ensure the progressive flavor in each cigar. Progressive flavor construction is an old Cuban technique with the cigars designed to increase in strength as the cigar is smoked. The technique, combined with premium tobacco, provides a perfectly balanced and pleasurable smoking experience. Roberto P. Duran invites you to make their premium your standard. And by Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop, located here in Rhode Island. They have an outstanding selection of premium handmade cigars. Actually, that was wrong. I meant to say Ocean State Cigars, makers of the J. Grotto Series cigar, which are sold through Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop. They have the Anniversary Series all-new cigar made in the same factory as Debonair Cigars. You should check them out on the line at oceanstatecigars.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. We're going to round out the show with our Stogies of the Week. We gave you a little sampling of that already, where Will and I reviewed the same Debonair cigar and independently, without talking to each other, I swear, gave the Debonair Maduro Bellicoso a Fight Chuck Norris rating, which is just awesome, Will. But now, Will, I'm going to turn it over to you for your first Stogie of the Week. Or not?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Quickly, I just dropped for a second. Do we announce the winners?
We have not announced the winners.
Do we want to announce them now or at the end of the show?
Let's do it now.
Okay, so the winner of the box of Terroir was Ken Sprayberry. Ken, congrats. You had the correct answer. It's a bung. You were the first one with the correct answer. So email your address, and we'll get that to Brian to get you out there. Now, the second one, Brian was actually real surprised how many people got it right. And that one, the winner is
Craig
Greenwood, who correctly said it was the tri-clover clamp.
Tri-clover clamp. Now,
and I have your address, Craig, so I'll get that to Brian.
We don't have a winner for us.
Still no video on you, Will.
No winner for our Saga Cigars contest.
Why? Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. You get a T-shirt, a hat, and a line sampler from Saga Cigars from this week.
And what was the question again?
And the question was Jean-Michel's accent. Which 2 figures from various sources represent Jean-Michel's accent? He said it during his interview. Kind of interesting.
Yep, we'll have one more question at the end. So
and I tell you what, that blend number 7 Double Perfecto is out of this world.
I smoked it on the show for the first time, Paul. That side, and it's the belle of the ball.
That was my second one. My first one was not as good as my second one, and I think my first one, I don't know what it was. The construction may have been a little wonky. It might have had a little Paul syndrome. The second one, dude, was amazing. And I see Stogie Santa really spoke highly of that cigar as well. So I see why.
Yeah, and, I've actually, for a while, I was a little more in the Golden Age camp until I smoked that Perfecto. And now I see what you guys are getting off that number 7. And I think there's something right about maybe the bigger ring gauge does work well with that blend.
Very cool. Over to you, Will, for your first Stogie of the Week.
Okay. Actually, I talked about the first one, so I'm going to go to my second one. This is one that you reviewed, Paul, in a different size, but I had a chance to kind of go through it over the last week. It's the latest short run from EP Carrillo, the short run 2015 in the Vencedores series, and Vencedores it's actually a Toro, which is a 6x52.
I
Vencedores means
bought one. I bought one today, Will, to try that size.
interesting. Yeah, this is the only size I've had in the blend so far.
Okay.
It means conqueror. It's got a Criollo Jalapa 98 wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and a combination of Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers. The interesting thing I'm wondering about Ernie, what he's doing here, is last year with the short run, he came out with a Dominican Corojo. And then kind of later in the year, he did a few releases that were using that Dominican Corojo um, on other lines. So he started incorporating that into the EP Corojo cabinet and the ET C99. It wasn't a Dominican Corojo, but it was an Ecuadorian Corojo. But he was still working with Corojo. So I'm wondering this year if Criollo could be a theme to watch with Ernie this year. I mean, it's just kind of what I'm thinking. Overall, it was a good cigar. I think I enjoyed it. It was a fiver in my book. It had a nice little bit of a coffee and chocolate flavor along the way. There was a very smooth finish with the cigar. I had this nice creamy note, especially that I got in the second third. I thought the second third of this cigar was really where it hits the spot there. Got some spice towards the end, a little more cedar there. I thought it was a very well burning cigar. I thought it had a little more strength than I've had. It actually kind of pulls up into that medium to full range kind of towards the end, and the notes start to move towards full body towards the end. I gave it a fiver. Now, that's the positive. Now, when I'm kind of looking at the 6 short runs going from 2010 to 2015, I still, if I had to rank this among the 6, I still put 2010 to 13 ahead of this. So I kind of have this 5th out of the 6. With the 6th was the 2014. I don't think it quite hits what he did those first 4 years, which he just knocked it out of the park. But it's still a good cigar. If you're an EP Carrillo fan, you owe it to yourself to try it.
I thought it could use a little age.
I think it could use a little more age, but I don't know if it's going to. I mean, the 2013 is one of my all-time favorites, as well as the original 10. So with those Sumatra wrappers he was using on those two. So I think it's one to certainly watch over time. I've seen Ernie's cigars really take an uptick sometimes with some time in the humidor. But right now, it's a good cigar. It's a fiver. Definitely worth picking it up.
I smoked a Christophe Galerone's DR4. This is a Connecticut shade wrap cigar.
Yes.
And I have to say, Will, one of my most favorite Connecticut's to come out in recent times. This was smooth, creamy, had that caramel flavor. It was in, this was like a Toro size, which I think for Connecticut's, and you know me, I've smoked a lot of Connecticut's.
Right.
I think the Toro size really embodies what a Connecticut should be. Certainly first thing in the morning. I smoked large ring gauges, Robustos, Coronas, all kinds of different Connecticut's. The Toro seems to be the size that I come back to. I love the EP Carrillo New Wave Limited Edition. Is that what they call it? Or Edition Special? Edition Limitada?
New Wave Connecticut. New Wave Connecticut. The Reserva, the one that just came out.
Thank you.
The one that came out, yeah.
Yeah, the Reserva in the Toro is the best one. This one is right up there, dude. I mean, this is... I'm almost thinking I should do like Paul's top 5 Connecticut's to come out in 2015. Dude, this is right up there. This cigar is awesome. Box-worthy, without a doubt.
I smoked that. I haven't smoked that cigar in about a year, and I did like it. I had it as a box split when I reviewed.
Oh, so has this been out for a while?
It's been out for a while, actually.
Okay,
yeah.
so this just came in next door. I hadn't had these before, so
Yeah,
I thought it was new.
No. This is the line he launched with under the Galerones lines, which is the ones he's doing at PDR. And I knew you'd like this cigar.
Great cigar.
It had Paul written all over it when I had it too. So it is what's different about that cigar, it's not his first Connecticut shade, but it's his first Ecuadorian Connecticut. He did a Honduran Connecticut shade in his Britannia line, which I also really like.
Nice. Back to you, Will.
I just do one more, Paul. I just kind of
So I smoked the Avo second movement. I think you really like this cigar, Will.
Actually, I didn't. I like the first movement. I like the first movement.
You like the first movement. So I smoked the second movement. I don't know that I smoked the first movement. So the second movement had that really grassy flavor, which I like now. I mean, I've pretty much come full circle on that. I think when you smoke a cigar and you for the first time and you get that real grassy kind of flavor, you're like, oh my God, what is that? But I really love it, and I love how prominent it is in the first third, and then kind of dissipates and gives you that really wonderful transition. I really like this cigar. I'm calling this one a box split.
Interesting. See, this one I thought was a little bit of a miss in my book. Maybe I was comparing it too much to the first one, but I could see those qualities in there. But to me, it kind of felt like it was a little unbalanced. To me, it had a little more strength than the first movement one, though.
Yeah, it definitely picked up in strength in the second half. It definitely, the first half was better than the second half. But I really kind of see the aging potential in the cigar, I think. Maybe it was an aging thing.
Yeah, it could very well be with that. I should go revisit. I have a couple of them in my humidor still, so I may go revisit that now based on what you're saying.
Cool. Back to you, Will.
So I smoked a cigar from Hammer and Sickle, um, and it's called the Trademark Series. Now the picture you'll see if you look at that cigar, it's a Hammer and Sickle icon in the picture. That's because Hammer and Sickle has recently renamed that cigar. So it's no longer being called the Icon. They're going to pull the secondary Icon band off, but it's now going to be called the Trademark Series, and I guess you can guess why. So
Yeah, that
yeah,
happens.
it just happens, as a part of the cigar industry. So actually, when I was kind of prepping for this review, is when I kind of found this information out on that. But it uses a U.S. Connecticut shade wrapper over a Dominican binder and filler. It's actually made at the Davidoff factory. Um, and it was really designed to be a very milder but flavorful cigar in the Hammer and Sickle portfolio. I smoked the Churchill, which is a 7 by 48. I like this cigar a lot. I don't think you were as high on it as I am, but I thought it had I thought it had those great creamy notes. I thought it had a little bit of that woodsy and grassy notes that you'll get from a Davidoff type of made cigar. There was a sweetness that almost reminded me of marshmallow. But this is definitely a milder cigar in terms of strength. I mean, so there's strength. There's not a lot of it, if any, and it's mild in body. So these are not going to be very heavy on the palate. They're going to have more of a shorter finish on it. But I'll tell you what, I can go. I thought the only problem I had is I thought the draw was more open than I preferred on that cigar. It was definitely a looser draw. But it didn't do anything more than make the cigar burn fast, and the fast burn just made it go shorter. So it wasn't anything more than that I got from it. I did get a lot of smoke, obviously, from this looser drawer as well. Um, Overall, I liked it. A great morning smoke for me. I called it a box split there. I liked it in this side. I thought it kept its flavor right to the end, too.
Awesome. I smoked an Illusion MK Ultra Corona.
Ooh.
This cigar is fantastic. And Stogie Santa turned me on to these cigars. And I tell you what, for a full strength, and I like what Jean-Michel said, it's really not full strength, it's full power cigar because it has those subtle flavors, it has that sweetness, but it's really a full cigar in terms of power. And that really is embodied in this Illusion MK Ultra, and I'm calling it a box split. I smoked some really good cigars this week. This was definitely one of them. This cigar is fantastic, dude.
You know, I always say this. It's a great line, the Ultra. I still think the box presses are stronger than that Corona. I know everyone says that Corona is the strongest. Those box presses knock me on my butt.
The box presses are even stronger.
And I'm saying that's Dion's powerhouse cigar, and I'm telling you that's a powerhouse. Those are powerhouse cigars in that line.
They are. And it's such
they're
a
not for
contrast.
novices.
It's such a contrast to the Epernay line too.
It's a complete contrast, and it showed a Dion if he wanted to go ahead and make a cigar that's full throttle but yet has flavor. Great cigar. And those Coronas are more limited, so they're not done. They're done more in small batches compared to the regular production box presses.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so they're a
didn't know
little
that.
harder to get your hands on.
Back to you, Will.
Smoked a cigar from Viaje. It's another one of these chicharrones cigars, which is he talked about it on the show. He came out with a line of Rothschild-sized cigars, 4.5 by 48s, and he put three different wrapper options on it. One was a Corojo, Nicaraguan Corojo, which I talked about a couple weeks ago, called the original chicharrones. There's one which is called the bold chicharrones, which is a Maduro, and this one is a Criollo. Um, Overall, I thought it was a decent cigar. I think it's a fiver in the end. It had some good flavors. It definitely had spice. Excuse me. It definitely had some spice. It's not a spice that's going to power you. It's not going to salt your palate at all. So, excuse me. Um, but there was spice, so it definitely kept to that spicy theme. I gave it a fiver. The thing is, I think it was a good cigar. I don't know where it's gonna go. I thought when I smoked the Corojo version, it had some great aging potential. This one, I'm just not sure if the aging potential is gonna be there. My gut's telling me it's not gonna age like that Corojo is gonna age, but it's
Mm,
still a good cigar. If you want something with spice but not gonna overwhelm the palate, it's a good cigar to check out. So it's a fiver.
cool. Well, tell me about this Aura Vivo.
Ah, yeah, that was the one I sent you.
Okay.
Oro Vivo is one of Victor Vitale's cigars. And that's the line in particular that he did for Armand Asante. And that's a Nicaraguan Puro. Actually, it's the one that Armand Asante actually worked on with him.
Yeah,
Um,
for a Nicaraguan Puro, it's pretty medium bodied.
it is definitely a medium bodied cigar. It is not going to be a powerhouse by any means or heavy on the palate.
Yeah, I smoked it in the morning, and it was really good. I thought it had some great flavors. I really like the Nicaraguans that embody that medium kind of strength with a fuller flavor profile. And this definitely hit that mark. I would certainly give it a very strong fiver. I liked it a lot.
Let me ask you a question. Did you think it was a Cuban-esque type of smoke at all?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely had some of those subtle flavors, some wood notes.
Yep.
And some sweetness in there too. I thought he did a really nice job blending the cigar.
And I thought so too. And we talk. I know when we had Victor on a couple of times, we've talked about the notion of having a celebrity cigar, and um, it's a good cigar. I mean, this cigar, celebrity name on it or not, is. I thought it smoked really good. I thought it really had a Cuban-esque. Not everyone said that. That's why I'm kind of mentioning. I kind of wanted to ask that in particular because I just felt it
Well,
was. What size did you smoke? Do you
it was.
remember?
I think it was a robusto. I kind of, when I think of celebrities smoking cigars, I don't think of them smoking really light cigars because they want to be able to taste it, and they're probably smoking it in some kind of social setting, probably later on in the day, not in the morning. And I don't see them smoking something really heavy because most of the celebrities that you see in Cigar Aficionado aren't really like huge daily cigar smokers. And this is the kind of strength I think and flavor profile that would really fit that kind of environment.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the Mike Ditka cigars, which I like from Camacho, I think they're really good. I picture, and I've met Mike Ditka, and he pointed his finger at me and told me how he loves big ring gauge cigars.
Mm.
Um, but he's in the Ditka line. It's interesting too. I think they're very well done, and he's got one that came out called. He's got the Ditka 99, which is one I really like. But he's got a lot of different varieties in terms of blends, and he's got some more medium ones in there as well.
Awesome. Back to you, Will.
I got another Avo. I made my way back to the Avo 2003 limited edition. It's called the Avo 77 for Avo 77's birthday. This one has got a mix of Ecuadorian wrapper with Dominican binder and filler. I think it's a shade wrapper on this thing. It had some of those green blotches called frog eyes on it,
Mm-hmm.
which really are just more cosmetic. There's nothing wrong with it, but I love it. I love when those light wrappers get a little of that green chlorophyll kind of mixed in on it. It just kind of adds a lot of charm to this cigar. Um, I don't know if this cigar is 12 years old or not. My guess is, I noticed some of the blends were recreated. I know some of them were leftovers. It didn't smoke like a 12-year-old cigar, but it smoked fantastic. The thing that I loved about this cigar is when I lit this cigar up, the aroma. It had that toasty aroma that came right up. And people say cigars stink, and I did. This is what I love. I love that toasty aroma on it. I got that toasty aroma on the retrohale and on the tongue as well. There's a little bit of pepper in there, a little bit of that grassy note in there. Um, it's a medium strain cigar, so it's not very strong. It's the body actually goes a little more towards medium to full towards the end of that cigar. Um, what I can say is this was one heck of a cigar. I had never smoked the 77 until I got the samplers, and really, really enjoyed this cigar. Box worthy. This is one of my. This is one of
Nice.
those old avos. I think you smoked this one, didn't you?
Probably.
Yep.
I probably rated it pretty high too.
I think you did.
Yeah,
I know you like some of those first few in there, and I got two more
absolutely.
to go through this set. So,
The first like 4 or 5 in that set are pretty dynamic, pretty
yep,
awesome.
yep.
I smoked a Don Pepin Garcia. This is a special CRA edition. Came with my lifetime membership to CRA, where they sent me a whole bunch of stuff, including some cigars. What you'll notice about this cigar when you go to the Stogie Geeks Stogie feed, stogiegeeks.com/stogies. If you look up this cigar, you'll notice the picture looks a little different. And I try and, sometimes I try and hide some of the behind the scenes things, but I'm really excited about this because we have a light box here in the studio. And this was one of the first pictures I snapped in the light box. Now, I snapped it with my phone in the light box, which is not ideal. I understand that. But it got my ugly hands and dirty fingernails out of the picture. So I'm really liking what this light box does and really does the cigar justice. In this particular cigar with the Don Pepin blue label on it, the CRA band, which is a totally different color contrast, much lighter, and the blue ribbon on the foot and the dark wrapper against the white background, I thought the picture came out really, really nice. So the cigar was good. It starts off with that Don Pepin classic spice, and the first third is really dynamic, kind of wakes up your senses, and is a really good kind of earthy flavored cigar. Not really what I look for a lot of times in my palate, but I know a lot of people like that flavor profile, so I gave it a 5.
Yeah, I think they put the Toro size in there too. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the 6x50 that's in there, which is a very good size. I like the Blue Label blend. It's got that Corojo wrapper, that Oscuro Corojo with a mix of Criollo and Corojo in the blend. Um, it's a solid cigar. And a lot of times I know there's different. I know a lot of folks like, there's different. I know a lot of folks like I think the Corona Gordas, the Exquisitos is one that Stogie Santa likes. There's a lot of good cigars in that line, and I think my father cigars did a great job a couple of years ago, kind of resurrecting that line. It was kind of like when all the new My Fathers came out. I think some of those Don Pepin Garcia ones got forgotten about, and that cigar became a
Mm,
great cigar. So
absolutely.
good pick. And I'm done, so you can keep going.
Okay, good, because I got some really cool ones to talk about.
Yep,
More
yep.
light box pictures. Is this an M. Bombay Mora, the
Yeah,
Bellicoso pre-release?
yeah. It's the number 2, so it's a pre-release of the Mora blend.
Yeah, great cigar. Love this cigar. I think, the Bellicoso size for me is kind of hit or miss. I think, I don't know, you know how that size goes sometimes, Will. But this was a solid 5 for me. I thought it had great flavors. Um, it was pretty dynamic, had some wood notes to it. I really liked it. And then you can see it up on the screen there in the video. And I really liked it. I think they're doing really well with this with the Mora line.
Yeah, and I'm excited. Mel will be coming on the show at the end of the month. So I spoke to Mel this week. He's coming on. Who's the man behind M Bombay? That blend is a real. I tell you, that blend's an interesting blend. He's using a Dominican Corojo wrapper. He's using that Peruvian binder on there with a mix of Ecuadorian and Dominican filler, making that in Costa Rica. So
Yeah,
I
it's
think there's a
interesting. It's
lot.
an interesting blend.
Yeah, it's an interesting blend. He's doing some real interesting things with that line and the Casera line as well. So I have not smoked the number 2 yet. So now I want to go smoke it. So
Absolutely.
I have one. So I'm glad you did.
Now, next up, you'll see the Saga Blend number 7, the Grand Toro.
Yep.
Did I get that right? He called it
Uh,
something different. Toro Grande?
I think it's the Toro
I
Grande.
think it's a Toro Grande. I think I got the title wrong because John Michel said it's a Toro Grande. I love this cigar. I have to
Yes,
say,
Toro Gordo. Toro Gordo.
Toro Gordo, thank
We'll
you.
correct that. We'll correct that in the feed.
And for me, I love this blend number 7, and I originally rated my Perfecto as a 5. I'm definitely going to update that to box worthy because the second one I smoked was just so much better. And I don't know if I had, like I said, I think I might have had Paul syndrome on the second one. That's the beauty of our Stogies feed is we're reviewing so many cigars, we can update our ratings as we smoke more. Typically for the show, because we're smoking so many cigars, we only get to do one. I smoked that double Perfecto, man, and that's box worthy, hands down.
I smoked it and blew me away how good it was.
And dude, this Toro Grande, did I say that right?
Toro Gordo.
Toro Gordo. I keep getting it wrong. Toro Gordo in the number 7. This one I would light up first thing in the morning, and this is a box split, hands down. This is a fantastic morning cigar. If you're looking for something with a little more full flavor, a little more full body first thing in the morning, this is a go-to cigar for me. When it gets into that larger ring gauge, it kind of mellows out a little bit. I wouldn't smoke a double Perfecto first thing in the morning. I would definitely wait because that's got some more power to it. But in this different size, in the Toro Gordo, it's just awesome. Really, really loving this blend, Will.
Yeah, like I said, I've been smoking more of the Golden Age, and I kind of was really high on the Golden Age, but the number 7 in that Perfecto was a real. And I have not smoked the Toro Gordo yet. I've smoked the Robusto and the Perfecto so far. Great price points on those things too. I mean, you could be in those cigars in the $6 to $8 range with no problem.
Now I'm going to take the Debonair Bellicoso Maduro. I'm going to put it in a different category, right? And I would say if I had to pick a second smoke of the week outside of Debonair, and this is definitely the one that surprised me the most by far. I've smoked a lot of Ashtons. I smoked quite a few different Ashton symmetries, but I've never smoked it in the Corona size. And my expectations were kind of low because I wasn't really high on a lot of the Ashton symmetries in the other sizes. I always thought they were a little unbalanced, like I felt like they needed age, like there was just something missing from them. I lit up this Corona, Will. This thing was out of this world. It just poured flavor. It didn't waste any time, and it poured flavor from start to finish. And it was just wonderfully balanced. Had an awesome sweetness component coupled with some wood notes, a little bit of spice. It was just awesome. This cigar is box-worthy, hands down. And I think it's one of the fewer times I kind of agree with John, the manager next door at Havana Cigar Club, where we completely agree on a cigar. Because I'm like, dude, I'm just not big on the Ashton symmetry. He's like, dude, you got to try the different sizes. He's like, you especially got to pay attention to the Corona. And let me tell you, he was right on the money with that recommendation. This cigar is absolutely awesome. Awesome, awesome cigar.
So I looked at that and I was like, really? But I had not smoked the Corona.
Oh,
so I gotta be fair on it.
It's so different from anything else in the line. I was blown away as to how different it was in this size. I mean, they blended to the size phenomenally.
And we've seen that with many lines where sometimes we just don't get it in a line, and then I know we were talking with Robert Caldwell last week, and I remember I think a couple of us were talking about that King is Dead line.
Yeah.
And a lot of us didn't get it till I had the Bellicoso in that one. So it can very well change from size to size. So now I want to try this cigar and see, because I've not smoked the Corona in it.
Stogie Geeks, you've got a lot of smoking to do, because if you try to line and you're not big on it, you got to try it in a different size because you just never know.
Yeah, and I think sometimes as consumers, when the new line comes in, we normally don't go to the Corona first.
No, I mean, you go to whatever size that you like to
the
smoke
Toro
in a
or the
different
Robusto.
blend. Yeah.
I go Toro.
You go to yeah, you're right. Well, you go to a traditional size because you know how a Robusto is supposed to smoke. You know how a Toro is supposed to smoke. And you just never know which size in that line you're going to like. And I tell you what, reviewing cigars on this show, we do about 700 cigars a year in total. And I think Will and I think we're both surprised as to how much difference the size makes in a cigar.
Yeah, I mean, and we go back again to that Debonair Maduro Bellicoso. I think it's safe to say, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth, Paul. I think you've always been a little more higher on the Habano line than the Maduro line.
In which one?
In the Debonair.
Yes, yeah,
I
have.
But
I think having said that in the Debonair line, having that year off of the date that it was boxed on the inside of the band has made a huge difference in that line.
I agree.
I think it's aged phenomenally well. Phenomenally well.
I agree.
I smoked a Seguida, 2 years of age, and it was wonderful. Wonderful. And I gave one to Brenda next door. I'm curious to see what she thinks of it, too, because she had never smoked a Debonair before. So, yeah. So what, like Chris was just saying, In my ears, you couldn't hear them, but size matters. Is
Size
what we're saying.
matters.
It
Yep.
does. And when it comes to cigars, man, size matters for sure. One of the other standouts, we did a fire pit for the first time here in New England, and I smoked the Padron 1926 anniversary. Which is the what is which anniversary 26 did I smoke? I bought a box of them in the natural wrapper.
You smoked, wasn't the number 6, was it?
No, it was an anniversary series.
Oh, it was an anniversary.
40, maybe it was the 46th natural.
Okay.
The smaller one. It's a smaller one. Yeah, 46th.
Okay.
46th? Is that the one? Let me see. I got to look at the side. I got to make sure that's the one I smoked. Yeah, it was definitely the 46th in the natural. Holy crap, dude. These are awesome. They're just aging so well.
The 46 is so underrated.
Oh, in the natural.
It really, both that natural Maduro. I know everyone talks the 45. That 46 is underrated.
Absolutely. It was special. It was special. And that's it. I'm out. What do we got for a contest?
All right. So we got one more saga pack.
Yeah. Yeah. We can do another saga pack. I got plenty of them.
Okay. So the first
Will went away as we were talking about. Sampler packs. We're going to give away another sampler pack of Saga cigars with a Smoke Naked t-shirt. So the Smoke Naked t-shirt and a full Saga line sampler that gives you the Golden Age and the Saga Blend number 7. And included in there is the Perfecto, which Will, myself, and Stogie Santa spoke very highly of. I guarantee that's going to be a box worth of cigar, and I'm a high majority of our listeners, I believe, are going to smoke that cigar and want to go buy a box of them. So
I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree.
So what's the question to win the Saga line sampler and a Smoke Naked t-shirt?
Well, we talked a little to Jean-Michel Louis. What is his title at Saga Cigars?
There you go.
Jean-Michel Louis, yep. Really cool guy, by the way. I met him last year at IPCPR.
Yeah, very cool guy.
Just a great sense of humor, and I think he's going to do real well with this line. I'm really glad that we're partnering with them.
Unbelievable show tonight, Will.
Man, I'm exhausted.
I'm dizzy. I'm exhausted, man. We had John from Oliva on, Todd from Next Door. Then we had Jean-Michel on from Saga Cigars along with Stogie Santa. Then
Phil.
We had Phil live in the studio to do a Debonair Ideal along with Stogie Santa. Then we had Brian from Chinook Cellars, and we rounded it out with an excellent Stogies of the Week. I smoked a lot of great cigars this week. So really, truly blessed to be here on the Stogie Geek Show and deliver all that content. And I'm tired, and I'm going to go to bed now.
I'm beat, but it kind of everyone converged on Rhode Island tonight, so it was a little bit
yeah, it was awesome.
And then Brian gave a whole bunch of cigars away as well.
Oh,
some really good info.
That is a world record for the Stogie Geek Show to give away in one contest question. Someone won 3 boxes of cigars. We will be giving away the most stuff on any Stogie Geek Show ever
tonight.
This week's show.
Absolutely. And it's only going to get better, guys. There's a lot of good guests we have coming up.
So if you listen tonight and you didn't win something, man, you had some good chances. So keep listening. I got tons of stuff to give away. So we may even up it to 2 contests per show because we have so much inventory right now that needs to be given away for contests. So
and we want to share it, yeah.
And you'll have a chance. Day after tomorrow, I'll be in Boston, Massachusetts. Home of the Patriots and the Red Sox, of course, and we'll be there for a security conference, but we're going to have all of the Stogie Geek stuff. So I have Smoke Naked t-shirts, Stogie Geek stickers, and this will be the first security conference where I'll have Smoke Naked t-shirts.
And that's Saturday?
And that's Saturday. I'm very excited. It's going to be about 250 people. Roughly at this event in Boston that we're going to. The entire production staff and everyone involved with Security Weekly here and Stogie Geeks will be going. So I'm very excited about that.
That's going to be awesome. Yes, so definitely check it out. If you're a security geek, go check that out.
Yep. And with that, that rounds out this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. Thanks for listening. We'll see everyone next week.
Take care.